what we're approaching it the same way we do everything, where we open it up to our community of users. We created a green team. We open it up to our customers. 100,000 buyers and sellers signed up. And there's now a site where they share experiences about how to sell sustainably, how you do packaging and shipping sustainably, how you buy and consume in a green manner. And so our community is beginning to take us in new directions in innovative ways. And I guess my final comment or question I'd make to all of you is we've gone out and tried to engage with this community, we're struck by the fact that so much of the dialogues are on classic manufacturing and supply chains. And we just don't have that. We're a technology platform that touches millions and millions of people. And we have, I suppose, the benefit and the curse, the challenge and the opportunity that a lot of the traditional approaches of how we could be responsible and sustainable don't apply to us. So that makes it a little harder, and yet we have the opportunity to do something different, to be bold, to be innovative. And we need your help on that, and we would encourage many of you to think about technology companies and internet companies as a new opportunity to connect and reach people. So let me just wrap up my remarks before Kara comes up here with sort of 3 thoughts I'll leave you with about us and sustainability. 1, we're just getting started. As I said, we're high up on the learning curve. 2, we want to learn. We want to listen and we want to learn. And we would engage with many of the stakeholders in this room. I have such respect for Nike and what Nike's done. I've learned so much about how you've taken it on. I sit on Dartmouth's board with Jeff Emmelt and how Jeff has taken this on. And so we want to learn. And the third thing is our core value is to be transparent and to be bold. And so our aspirations in this area are to live out that core value and be aspirational, be transparent, be bold. And so we look forward to continuing on this journey and look forward to talking more with Kara. Thank you very much.
So I think that so many of your comments touched on the themes we've heard this week at our conference so far, one of them being sustainable consumption. I automatically think of eBay as a place where it's a great green business, where things are reconsumed. I was sharing with John, I just bought my kids' Halloween costumes there because I knew there would be Boots and Dora costumes on eBay. So, you know, how do you begin to use that amazing reach you have? You're one of the few businesses that could really say to consumers broadly, not only your community, but consumers broadly, you know, hey, we can't go at the pace that we're going. We need to consume less. And how do you need to educate, use the platforms that you have, the leverage that you have to promote sustainable consumption?
Yeah. So we're sort of in the midst of that learning process. You know, my philosophy in these things is it's really hard to tell people what to do. So we don't tell people what to do. What we try to do is, your mic is going in and out. We try to enable good things to happen. When Pierre created eBay, he said, one of our core values is people are basically good, so that you could actually trust buying something from a stranger halfway around the world who you never met and sending them money through PayPal. And on the green front, I think what we can do is make it easy to, really easy to list an item, a used item. So it's easy to sell something instead of just throwing it away or giving it away. And then educate, make it easy to buy something and make it a trustworthy experience so that you know what you're getting. And so our goal is to enable that and then elevate it. We just did a campaign in last June with Hearst magazines, all the Hearst magazines. It was called 30 Days of Green, and you may have seen it. And really, it was just a big advertising campaign and an online campaign that just showed all the used items that are available on eBay, and just educating people and raising this notion of shopping smart, shopping green. It's the smart way to shop. So we're not going to tell anyone what to do, but we're going to try to enable to make it really easy and educate if we can.
So picking up on the theme of trust, I think the eBay community has a lot of trust built into the community and within the users. We've seen the theme of trust touch sustainability in terms of trust in business declining rapidly, particularly here in the United States. So how do you play a role as a large influential business and a brand in regaining corporate trust and with the external stakeholder community outside of your eBay users?
Well, I think there's no simple answer to that. My honest feeling is that a few bad apples have cast dispersion across a whole sector, and some of that's not fair. But I can't control that. What I can control is ensure that we are really clear about our core values and our purpose, and that everything we do is consistent with that, and that we are authentic both with our employees and with our customers about what we're trying to accomplish and what our aspirations are. And the reputation and what we've seen in the eBay reputation system, the trust system, has got to start with your actions, and then the reputation follows. You can't tackle a reputation before you tackle your actions, and so we're trying to do that through our actions. And on the sustainability front, we do it with humility. What was interesting to me was when I took over and I called in our team, some of who are here today, and said, all right, I want to make this a major thrust of our company. And we're doing a lot. I want people to know about it. And so we went out to this community and talked and said, how are we doing? And they said, not as good as perhaps you think. And make sure you get your actions done before you talk about them. Because this was back, you remember 12 months ago, everyone was announcing TV commercials and bold goals. And so we made a conscious decision not to talk about what we were doing, but to start doing it. And then over time, the reputation would build based on our actions, not on our words. And I think that's probably true for business in general.
Great. Well, thinking about your employees, you certainly have an extremely active eBay community. You have extremely active, engaged employee base. And I know that recently there's been a move internally to take what was more of a centralized function of global citizenship and put it into the business units. So maybe if you could talk a little bit about that. I know that would be of interest to a lot of folks here. How do you push it into the business? How does that happen? What are some of the challenges there? Yeah.
It's very similar to growing and grooming a business. So the 3 or 4 entities in our global citizenship, as I mentioned earlier, were the eBay Foundation, eBay Giving Works, Microplace, World of Good. These all of which were started by entrepreneurs, by the way. And so when I became CEO, I pulled them all together because I said, I want to make sure we're putting a real focus behind it. And I had the head of that group report directly to me and tried to set the tone for the company that this is important to who we are and what we do. And I believe it's the right thing to do. And at the end of last year, the leader of that group and one of his lieutenants, who's now the leader of the group, came and said, you know what? Where sustainability is going is not that we have a global citizenship group, but rather that we embed it more deeply in what we do every day. And so take Microplace. Microplace is the site where you can, I put in $10,000. And Microplace helps invest that in microloans to countries I choose. So I chose Vietnam. And Calvert Foundation, who I believe is here today, makes sure that gets to a woman to buy a sewing machine, to get a loan to buy a sewing machine, to begin to make some clothes, to begin to make a living. And Microplace is going along just fine, but it doesn't, and the technology's built and it's got a good reputation, but it's not yet in front of the 140 million registered users of PayPal. It's a little link on the bottom. And so we're putting Microplace in with PayPal. And now all of a sudden I set the goal for PayPal. Your goal is to help make Microplace succeed. So all PayPal has to do is elevate the role and visibility of Microplace in its everyday business flows.